Hello there, this is Brian King. I had an interesting conversation last night with a woman whose father, her father probably, but more presently her husband has Asperger's. And we had a discussion about, medication, should you not. And I shared with her that my three boys take medication for their ADHD, but I do not. I use meditation and I use coffee to manage my attention. I see people, hey Alyssa, I see people starting to sign on. When you do get here, please say hi, like Alyssa, and please press a like. Hey Sarah, a like or a love or something, let me know you're here. But this conversation I had with this lady last night, whose her husband has Asperger's and one of her daughters, and I shared with her that my dad has Asperger's and so do my sons. And the question of medication in their relationship had been a contentious one because it had been recommended to him that he try medication in order to increase his focus and his memory, and he flat out rejected it. And this was his reasoning. His reasoning was, I am who I am. Okay. So I gave my feedback on that point because I hear it quite often from people who dig in at the mere suggestion that by improving any part of themselves that allows them to be much more effective and feel much more successful in life, that it's somehow an insult to who they are. It's a what's the new lingo? It's an attempt by the ableist community to make them more normal. I see bullshit to that argument, okay? Because first and foremost, the premise that I am who I am is suggesting that you think who you are is fixed, that we somehow pop out of the womb and we are just inflexible as steel and we can't grow, we can't adapt, and we can't become better in certain areas. The idea is just absurd. And another thing it says is this, which is far more important. When you say, I am who I am, what you are saying is you've made a decision about who you are and what are the different opinions or abilities or characteristics that you have that are fundamental to who you think you are. You've decided that I'm this kind of person, I'm that kind of person, I belong in this group, and I'm excluded from that group. So I have to maintain all of the characteristics that make me a part of this group, because if any of those change, I no longer belong. So you gain this inflexible sense of who you are in order to protect your identity. Doesn't make it the truth. It can feel very real to you because of how much emotional investment you have in it. Let me give you a point from my own history. Back in my late 30s, which seems like an eternity ago, is when I first learned that I was very Aspergian in my sensibilities. And later I found out about the ADHD and the dyslexia. Well, when I did the good old life review that a lot of us adults do when we are diagnosed for the first time, the what if we'd known back then, how much more different could my life have been, how much more support could I have gotten? And when I was done with that and resenting not knowing in the past and realizing the only thing that I have any say over is where I go from here. What do I do with this knowledge that I have? And I began latching on to the Asperger's identity. I started buying the books and bookmarking the websites and attending the conferences, and I felt like I belonged, like I had arrived, like this is me, this is my tribe, these are my people, this is my community. And what I realized was that all of the boxes people had put me in the past, you're not motivated, you're in the geek box, you're in the loser box, whatever they put me in, I had simply boxed myself. When I said, I'm in the Asperger's community, therefore I read up and I need to know what Asperger's is. I need to read the criteria because I want to make sure I belong here. It's almost like reading the rules and regulations for membership in a fraternity or something. And then I noticed something else. When I started having boys and I saw how they struggled because of their own challenges, I went out of my way to begin learning the skills that they would need to be much more self-determined in society, the social strategies, the organizational strategies. I learned them myself, and my skills improved. And you know what started happening? other people in the community began seeing my successes and began openly criticizing me as not legitimately somebody on the spectrum. You don't have Asperger's because you can do this. Now, you couldn't possibly have Asperger's because you did that. So what they were telling me is that by improving my skills, by improving my effectiveness, I was, for all intents and purposes, disqualifying myself as somebody who was welcome in the community. In other words, they were saying you have to have a fixed opinion of yourself. You have to remain stuck, stubborn, and immovable in order to qualify to be one of us. And I thought about that for a while, and I thought about it, and I basically concluded, screw you. Because the most important community I am a member of is the human one. And we are put on this earth to grow like any other living organism. Whether it is a flower in the garden, whether it is a small animal that is born one day and raises to adulthood. We are put on this earth to grow, not to dig in our heels, not to shove our heads up our asses, and stubbornly refuse opportunities to improve our skills so that we can refine ourselves, sharpen our saw, if you will, to contribute even better things to society. Not saying that you're not good enough the way you are. I used this metaphor with somebody else the other day. I said, when you look at an acorn, you don't immediately say, stay just who you are. I know there's potential in you to grow into an oak tree, but just stay put. I'm going to accept you just the way you are. Seriously? You can do that, but actually inhibit somebody's growth. If you accept them to the point where you say, don't change a thing about you. You just stay exactly who you are. You're telling them to be stuck. You can say, you know what, you're awesome the way you are. However, in the event you want to stretch and show me what you got, I've got your back. That's what we really need to be encouraging people to do. Not this stubborn refusal to accept anything that might allow them to sharpen their abilities to the point where they can go out there and make an even bigger difference. I'm not one to settle. When I have dreams of who I want to become and what I want to do, if it doesn't fall within my skill set, I don't simply chuck it all in and say, forget it, I'm not even going to bother. Maybe it is beyond my skills, but it doesn't mean it's beyond me to achieve. Maybe all by myself. But that doesn't mean I can't surround myself with the tools, the strategies, the people, so that we can succeed together. So that's kind of my 2 cents on this issue. Those who stubbornly refuse to let in a little bit more light so that maybe they can see a little bit more clearly and see a bigger horizon. I got really nothing to offer those people. But the people that say, I know I can do more. I know I was meant for more. I know I'm capable of more. I just need the right mindset and skill set and support to do it. What do you have for me? What are your ideas? Those are people I can help. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. Give me some feedback. Let me know if there's anything about this that resonates with you. And if there's anybody else who is kind of reaching and thinking, I know I can be more. I know I'm capable of more. I just don't know where to start. If you know someone like that, please share this with them. Who do you know that could use this right now? As soon as I'm done recording this, please share it so other people can benefit too. Thank you so much for listening in. We'll talk again soon.